What's going on, guys? TZ Champ here. Welcome back to another video, and we have the Chimera. So if you guys are new and do not know anything about what the Chimera is, and it's your first time seeing it, this is the Chimera. You start the boss fight. It only has 65 turns. Every 5 turns it changes form. So if this is its ultimate form, this next turn it's going to shift into the ram form, which is the most broken form of the entire fight, and personally my only form that I think needs to be nerfed because it is way too strong. But this is the ram form. It reflects 25% of all damage that you deal to it, which is just absurd, and basically just makes your characters kill themselves. So it's tough. So I have brought a couple of champions to try and help mitigate that specifically, and we're not really going for trials. We're more so going for damage, because damage gets us the chest gets us the fragments for that other mythical champion. But we actually are doing pretty good right now. Unfortunately, we didn't complete it though, because you have to do it within 3 of its own turns, so that makes it a little hard to do. But yeah, it's not too bad. Let's see, can we do it? If Ninja can get another turn off, I think we can do it. And he did it! Let's go! That's my first time completing one of these, by the way. On the ram form. I have not been able to complete a trial on the ram form until just then, so that is awesome. Let's go. We've just completed a trial. Now, the other issue I have with the ram form and why it's so difficult is this dueling ability that it has. One, it decreases all damage that the character that the dual debuff is placed on by 50%, I believe, and then it deals like 50% more damage to them. So super tough, super strong, really annoying. Now, it's mostly the reflect damage that I have an issue. That and one of its skills allows it to repeat the attack if it deals at least 20% of your character's max HP or your champion's max HP, which is kind of annoying because it can just sit there and repeat it constantly. And if it's doing 20% of your champion's max HP, then it's going to just constantly repeat it 5 times until it kills your champion, which is kind of dumb. I don't know why that's a thing, or if we're supposed to have some way to mitigate the damage in the middle of its turn to where maybe it doesn't do the 20% damage. I don't know. It seems so weird, but it is what it is. We deal with it. We roll with punches, all that good stuff. Now, this is my current team, and I'll explain the roles of, what they're feeling while they're here to try and explain mostly my idea behind building the team, and maybe this will help you guys build a team as well. I know you might not have the same champions that I have, and I know a lot of newer players are probably sitting here kind of mad because Chimera seems mostly like a mid-game to end-game kind of content area, and to be honest with you, I think you would be correct. I think it is mostly set for just end-game, which is kind of, or mid-game and end-game, which is kind of annoying, and I can definitely understand why you'd be upset about it. So, hopefully you guys can at least find some kind of solace and be able to do some stuff here and kind of see what all you can do to improve your own teams against it whenever you do get to fight it. I'm sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. Did not make a script for this. I don't make scripts, so everything's off the top of the dome. But for this fight, we have Firo as our leader. Now, Firo, if you are lucky enough to have him like I am, you have essentially gotten yourself one of the best champions for this fight. Because one of the best legendary champions. And that's mostly because he has a lot of resistance that he brings to the table, which helps to resist all of the stealing debuffs, removing debuffs, placing debuffs, all that good stuff, or bad stuff, that the boss does. So very, very useful and helpful for this fight. Next to him, I'm going to be bringing let's do Lady Mikage. Let's talk about her next. So the reason I brought Lady Mikage is because I had to choose my damage dealer. And to choose my damage dealer, I essentially just went with the champion that I knew I could deal the most damage with. And of course, that is going to be my ninja. Ninja is my highest DPS champion currently in the game, I believe. And that is mostly because he has the best gear that I have available to me. He has all the best gear. He has the best soul. He has a 6-star soul. So he is just cracked. His skills are very strong and everything also, so that helps out a lot as well. But he pairs so well with Lady Mikage because of her passive that she does. Every time she uses an attack with her A1, she is going to then have an ally from the Shadowkin team up. And since Ninja is part of the Shadowkin, he is always going to be attacking with her on each of her attacks. She's also really good ally attacker. And on top of that, she is one of the best, if not the best, buff extenders, debuff decreasers, buff decreasing on enemies, and debuff extending on enemy champions in the game. She has all of that all on one turn, one attack, one ability, and which is very, very strong because most champions have that spread out across multiple abilities or multiple champions, and she has it all in one, which is very strong. And she has basically the best ally attack in the game as well, because she places an increased attack and an increased crit damage with the ally attack, and everyone joins in. It's not just some allies. She also does it as well as all the allies. So she is incredibly strong. And next, I chose Godseeker and Neri. Now, this is another character and champion that, you know, if you're lucky enough to have, she is incredibly strong. She has potential of soloing certain content in the game if you have her built to a certain degree. I mean, she is incredible. But she is our reviver and our buff extender as well. So I know Mikage does buff extensions and things like that as well, but it never hurts to have someone else do it also, because I don't have incredibly fast teams, so cycling turns and everything, speed tunes are not my forte. So having another character that can extend the buffs to make sure that they last as long as possible is very, very useful. And that's essentially why Godseeker is here, on top of her passive, being able to revive someone passively, revive herself passively. And then, of course, she has the actual ability to revive someone as well. Just very, very powerful reviver, nonetheless. And then lastly, I've put Deliana in here. And the reason I've chosen to do that is because one of the trials that we have to do is to place... Let's see. Place leech debuffs right here. Damage the Chimera while it's under a leech debuff. And place debuffs while it's under a decreased resistance. The essential part of the Chimera fight is trying to find that balance of a team where you have multiple champions that cover multiple roles. And that is kind of the difficult process. A lot of people don't have access to those champions, but Deliana right there alone covers 2 of those trials. Now, 2 trials you're thinking might not be a lot, but they do help out quite a bit, because this is hard mode, so every trial is completed, I believe the multiplier goes up by 0.4 or 0.2. I can't remember. I think it's 0.2. I'm not sure. It could be 0.4 though. But for every one of these, you're increasing that multiplier further. Or that, the multiplier further for every one of these trials you're completing. but you're also gaining crafting material to craft some of the new relics. So while it's not exactly easy to do these, it's very worth it if you can. But you also need to try and find a balance between damage and trials, because you need to also make sure that you're hitting that maximum chest, obviously. So that's why this fight becomes increasingly difficult for new players and early game players and mid game players and some in game players, because not everybody's going to have the ability to just go through and, you know, mow down 7 trials like I just did right here. Now, in my other team that arguably probably has way better damage, that I used in Brutal, was only able to do 4 trials. And that's because the trials get increasingly difficult. They stay the same, but they get increasingly difficult, you know, with the difficulty of the boss. So for an example, one of the trials that we had here, for instance, this one right here, damage the Chimera while it's under a Fear or True Fear debuff. On Brutal difficulty, this is 800k instead of 600k. This one right here for 500k on Brutal is like close to a million or 1.5 million. Like, the damage numbers get very different, so it gets a lot harder for you to really, you know, hit those trials effectively. So finding a good thing in between is going to be absolutely game changing for all players. So I would highly recommend, because you can regroup at any time. So like, you can pause it right here. We could free regroup and it wouldn't consume our key. You can even go all the way till the end of the battle and see what your overall damage was at the end, and you can free regroup. It's just like Hydra. So I would highly recommend testing. You don't have to use up all of your keys the first day it's open. This thing lasts for an entire week. It's going to be a weekly reset, just like Hydra is. So don't focus on just trying to get everything done quickly. Build your teams. Like, that's one of my big things that I do. And some people might disagree with it. Others might not care. But I personally don't even use my Hydra keys until basically the day before it resets. Sometimes even the day of its reset. And the reason I do that is because even though I already have my Hydra team kind of set in stone, my good one at least, that doesn't change that they might get stronger. Like, what if I have my Hydra team and I use my key? Now I can't use those champions in a fight for the rest of the week for Hydra. And then suddenly I get this overpowered piece of gear, or I get some skill tomes for a champion that I didn't have fully booked yet. And I'm like, oh, well, now I can book them. Well, now I can't take advantage of that in that Hydra fight because I decided to go ahead and use my keys early. Same concept with this. Now, this one, you don't have to use unique champions. You can actually reuse the same team. So what you could do, if you would rather, you could just go ahead and use, one of your keys to try and get the trials rewards, because those rewards are actually instant. So you do get your rewards from the trials instantly, and you can use those to help craft. And then you can probably save a key and use it, somewhere else or later down the week and things like that. Completely up to you how you go about it and how you do it. So just bear that in mind, though. Don't be in too much of a hurry to try and just make sure you beat Chimera immediately, and even Hydra really at the start of the week. But this team right here is absolutely insane right now. So, and I can show you stats and stuff if you guys would like. I might do that here in a second towards the end. But we are already pushing 60 million base damage, 240 million clash points with a 4.4 multiplier with 7 trials completed. This team is actually pretty solid. And considering that it's made up of 2 free champions, if you count Ninja and Lady Mikage, because now if you're a new player and you missed out on Ninja, that's understandable. Can actually replace him with anyone else from the Shadowkin faction. Like if you have an Orboro, because she has a code that you can use to get her for free if you've just started out the game. So if you've had her, stuck around with her, or if you were lucky enough to pull her from a shard sometime during a shard event or something like that, then she could work. There are other Shadowkin characters as well. I don't have too many Shadowkin champions and stuff as of right now, at least not attacking based ones, other than Ninja and Orboro. Those are the ones that I use the most. But you know, anyone that's from the Shadowkin can pair with Lady Mikage. And even if you don't have a Shadowkin, any attacker really would work. You could put Rathlos in here if you were playing around when that was given out for free. That's another free champion that's pretty strong. In fact, he's probably my second highest damage dealer I have. So he's incredibly powerful as well. So that's another one that you can kind of keep in mind about, throw in here. Just because he doesn't pair up with Lady Mikage as well, her ally attack's still going to be very strong and very helpful for the fight. So just be sure to take care of that. You don't have to have multiple damage dealers if you don't think they're necessary. That's this build here, this team right here. These are not all damage dealers. This is not just one damage dealer. I have just Ninja in here as damage. Everyone else serves a purpose of mostly doing trials or sustainability, and you know, a little bit of in between. So you have Lady Mikage as she's a buff extender, as I said before. That's her role. Feral, his role is just buffs and resistance. Godseeker Iniri's role is reviver mostly and buff extension. And then Deliana's role is leeches to help with sustain, as well as debuffing and buffing. And then you have Ninja as the attacker. Like, those are the roles, and those are the roles that you pretty much place in every single fight in this game. So it's nothing really too different from other aspects of the game. It's just something new that's added a lot more difficulty and complexity to the game. And a lot of people, like I said, might not like that, which is fine. But I'm not going to be mad at them adding complexity. Let's put it that way. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, but we are approaching the end of the fight. So I don't think I'm going to hit the required amount to get the chest. I did the math wrong earlier. I was thinking I only needed like 220 million clash points, but I'm actually going to need 330 million, and we just did not hit that number, but we got very close. But this is a very good team, very good damage, and we are actually going to keep these numbers and be done for the week. But as you can see, look at that. We got 24 blue eyeballs and 13 purple eyeballs, plus a gemstone. It is invigorated. Turn meter increase effects are 10% more effective on the wearer. It's actually very strong. But that is my brutal team at 41.25 million with this team right here. See, a part of me wishes I had put Deliana in place of Mithrala to see if the results would have been just as good. But yeah, and I one keyed this one as well for 75 million, 7 trials complete. I actually completed the most trials out of all of my clan with this team, so that's actually very impressive as well. Easily cleared the brutal chest, as you can see here, 36 million, and then easily cleared the 20 million for the hard mode chest. So we're currently in second place for Clash. I was just shy of hitting this one right here, which would have been nice to get a gemstone, but it's perfect fine. I do find it very strange that we only get 1 gemstone from these, but it is what it is. But if we can continue to stay in second place, which I think we will, we're pretty, I mean, look at the difference in key value right here. So I'm pretty sure we're going to stay in second place. And if we do, I am at least going to be able to get this chest right here. So we're going to be able to get a rare gemstone, an epic gemstone, 2 of the basalts, and then clan XP and clan gold, obviously. So let me know what you guys have been able to do in Chimera. How successful have your attacks been? Let me know who you've used in your teams, because I am curious to know if maybe I'm sleeping on a champion that I didn't know about. That's pretty good. And yeah, I'd love to try it out and stuff. If you guys would like to see me try out some teams myself using some of my champions that I have, I'll let you get a look of them right here. So these are currently all of my champions that I have. So if you would like to see any of these champions used in Chimera or any other aspect of the game, let me know. I will gladly try and build them to try it out. It's going to take me a while to fully build them out though, so just bear in mind that. So it might not be a quick video, but eventually. A couple of characters I've gotten recently, if you did not watch my latest, is I did get Gizmac, but I'm still working on his build. He's not full build yet, and I'm working on that because right now he's a little too weak for Chimera. I have tried him. I don't know. He's in a weird spot right now with Chimera. I just don't know exactly who to slot him in for. I did also just get Helicath, so I'm working on Helicath's build as well. And yeah, this guy is absolutely insane for PvP and PvE content, so can't wait to try that out. But thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video kind of just showed off a couple of teams and stuff for you as well. Maybe you'd be interested in trying out for yourself and different things like that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful clash with Chimera, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.